Hello and welcome to BISP Solutions. Here we are going to start a session about the cash management. In the previous session, we have seen the features, benefit, and how to assign a role of a cash manager in the application, and what are the benefits of the cash management, and how we will reconcile it from the application and statement. So we are going to start how to give the bank transaction codes first. So we are going to straight away into the application and we will see how we can start the bank transaction codes. So we will go and start there. Okay, so in the last session we have seen in the last session we have covered that what is the features, benefits, and how to assign the roles of cash manager and LDAP. So now we are going to see the bank notes. So here you can see, here you go, and when you assign the cash manager roles, you will see this window is open up. So when you go to the bank statements and reconciliation, and here from the task list, first we will go and see the manual reconciliation. Okay, so here we will see manual reconciliation first. So in this manual reconciliation we will go and see in the next generation. Here you will see that we have the transaction, that is the system transactions are available. We don't have a bank statement lines right now. Why? Because we haven't uploaded any bank statements, whether it is manually or whether we have uploaded it through the spreadsheets. So when we create the statement lines, the bank statement lines, we will then reconcile it. So first before that we have to create certain transaction codes. So what is the transaction codes? Transaction code is like of the codes of whether we are going to pay or whether we are receiving the amount into the bank statements. So the first we have to go and create the transaction codes. So the transaction codes will be created from the a project. So we will go to a project. So here we will go to a project. Here we will search it down the transaction codes. Section codes. So when we go to the manage bank statement transaction code, we will create the transaction codes here. So you can see the codes, there is various types of codes are available here. So we can create the code, so we have to provide any unique number. So what is the transaction type? Okay, when you click on the add icon, here you have to give the transaction code, that is the number. So we will can give any number. Okay, so and the description is that we are giving for the payments. What is the what the transaction type we are going to do this? Here you can see it is given automated clearinghouse, bank adjustment, check, or EFT, fee, interest, logbox, miscellaneous, various available are here. So we just now will click on check and we click save and close. So now when you see your transaction code has been created, 357, your transaction codes has been created. Now what first we go and see the remittance batch. Okay, suppose when we received information from the to perform the bank statement reconciliation, if in the remittance. Now if suppose we remit some amount, so then we have to perform or update it to the system. Suppose the amount is like this. When we have recorded the transaction and we just perform the remittance, here if you see, when we go to the bank statement reconciliation, bank statement and reconciliation, and here you will go and see the manual reconciliation first. Okay, So when we create any transactions, that is come in the bank statement lines, but we haven't just remit it into the system. So in the system transactions, that is not available. So we have to create the remittance, we have to create the receipt remittance batch, so it can reflect into a system transaction. So how it will go and create? So we'll create the system remittance, we create receipt remittance transaction in accounts receivable. So we will go to the accounts receivable. Here under the account receivable, and accounts receivable, why we are receiving? Because we can the remit payments to get reflected into bank statement as well as into the system transaction, because sometimes the remittance amount is reflecting in the bank statement, but it's not reflecting into the transaction item. So to get reconcile it, we have to create the transaction into the system. So by this we will create the receipt remittance batch. Okay, so here into the task list, you will see create receipt remittance batch. When you click on this, oh yeah, this is all the information business unit. So we have created. Now we have to create the remittance class. Okay, so we have just created. Now I will click on add. Here we provide the customer name, that is NextGen. Now here you can see that the 5,000 remittance balance is available here in the transaction, but in the banking we have just received the $5,000. So we have to apply this and click on done, and we click save and close. So you can see the remittance. You can see the receipt remittance batch of this has been created. After that we will go and search the receipt and apply it. Now we go to the manage receipt remittance batch, and we will just search it down here. So we will okay, from business unit we will go and search it. Here you can see that completed creation has been. Now you just check it on approve. Now after a few seconds you can see the process status is approved. Now we search it. Here you can see the process status is completely approved. Now we will go and see on the cash management, and in the cash management we will see this transaction is reflected. We will go to the manual reconciliation. Now we'll select this NextGen and search it down. Here you can see that 5,000 receivables has been reflecting is here. So this is how the receipt can be comes up here. Okay, so this is how the receipt remittance batch has been created, and we can approve in this way. Now next stop. Now this is the receipt remittance batch. Now our next topic will be manual reconciliation. So how it will be done is reconciliation. So when you come up here, okay, from the task list under the window of bank statement and reconciliation, here you can see the manual reconciliation. Under this manual reconciliation, when you search it your bank account, you will see the system transaction and you will see the bank statement transaction. So when we do the manual reconciliation, then we have to do some working. We have to just tick or check all the boxes, or check one to one matching. So this is how we will do the manual reconciliation, then we can reconcile it. So this is how the manual reconciliation has been done. So we going to see how the bank reconciliation will be done. So first we will create the bank statements, because we don't have a bank statement. So we will just this is the only 4 transactions are available. So this is only the 4 transactions are available, so we will just create the bank statement line. So a bank statement lines will be also covered with this. So with this we will be able to see the create statement lines with this. Okay, so here you can come up here again under the bank statement reconciliation. On the task list you will see the option create bank statement. I have opened the duplicate one. Let's first go to there. Okay, okay, so now we'll go and create a bank statement. We will select a bank account here. Start date we will choose from 1st February to 1st January to 28th Feb, and we can give the statement ID. We can provide any statement ID. So now we will go and create the statement lines. On the statement lines, click on the add-on button here. Now, so now booking date will can be taken as any date, or you can just copy this date from which from which the transaction is recorded into the application. So it can be any date, but the amount will be reconciled, or it is reconciled. So date is not the issue, date can be any date. Okay, because sometimes when we deposited a check, it clears on 2 or 3 days later, but we recorded the transaction when we entered into the application. Okay, so the date can be vary. So booking date is not a big issue. So we just select today's date. Here is the reconciliation reference number. It is not mandatory one, but if we just record the reconciliation reference number, it will be easily trackable for the reconciliation when we are doing the manual reconciliation. So it can be this is the check number we are talking about. Okay, the transaction codes that we have created, 357. Okay, so now the flow indicator means the debit and credit. So here when we are recording the transaction in the statement lines, when we select the debit one, it means that we are paying. When we select the indicator is credit one, it means that when we are receiving. So why we are recording this indicator here on the debit side and the credit thing? Because when we write the amount, we don't have to give the negative sign for the outflow of cash. So because of that, we will record the debit and credit. any somehow we have mistakenly recorded the amount in a negative sign, but it always and choose the debit one as well. Okay. Okay, so it means that we have just paid the twice amount, so that's why we have to be very careful while writing the amount, while recording the amount. So we will just choose the debit one because we are paying of 25,000. Okay, we create one more. The date will be okay, date will be not the issue. Okay, transaction code will be same, the same amount, $15,000. So we create another. Again we will just record only these things. Okay, so we create one last one as well. We can choose anything if we want. Okay, we can choose the receipt one. That's the credit, 5,000 amount. I click OK. Now you can see that we have just reconciled list all the amounts. The payments option is gone here, the -1, the receipts option is come out 5,000 here. This is the reconciliation. If we want to add it, we can add it. Okay, suppose the date has been recorded. Now here you can see. Okay, so when we click save and close, it gives the message of opening balance and closing balance. You can see the opening balance that includes the statements line credit and the debit does not equal to the closing balance. Yes, if we are having a bank statement, so then we can record it this balance here. Okay, we can, it's not a show, we can click on OK. Okay, and we'll see the bank statement that has been recorded here. So when we select a bank statement, you will see, you can see the transaction as it comes up here. Okay, so now how we will reconcile it manually. So suppose I want to reconcile this amount with this amount reference number. Okay, here you can see the difference is 0. When if any differences comes here, suppose, then it will give you the difference and it will not be allowed us to be reconcile it. Suppose I just clicked on this mistakenly, so it gives the difference, but when we go and reconcile it, it won't allow us to reconcile the amount. You click on reconcile first. And now you can see the lines that are reconcile is removed from here, and you go to the reconcile option and search your bank account, and you will able to see that all the things is reconciled in a group one. Here you can see the group has been created, so the first group has been created. When you reconcile the second line, it will give you the second group, so each lines create the each group. So this is how the reconciliation, that is the manual reconciliation, is to be done in this system. Now the topic comes about auto reconciliation, because manually reconciliation take a lot of time to reconcile it, because we have to first have to do one-to-one matching or one-to-many, and the error of reconciliation is more where in the error where the human error is lesser, is minimum in the auto reconciliation. So when we go and create the auto reconciliation, we have to do certain configurations. So there is certain configurations that we have to do while creating the auto reconciliation. So first we have to create the bank reconciliation matching rules, so we can run the bank reconciliation rules. Then we have to create the bank statement reconciliation rule set. We have to first we have to create the um, bank statement reconciliation matching rules. We have to create the bank statement reconciliation rule set. Then we have to assign it to the bank account. Then we have to run the auto reconciliation. So these four steps we have to do to run the auto reconciliation into the system. Now we will go and do these setups. So first we have to create the bank reconciliation statement matching rules. So we'll go into a project. Auto reconciliation can also be done through the schedule process, where we give the command of auto reconciliation process and run the schedule process as well. But for that, if any error comes, there is very difficult. So it is rather, in my opinion, we should do this reconciliation by this rules. So we'll go to a project. And now in the project, the task we will search is reconciliation matching rules. Okay, here manage bank statement reconciliation rules. So here you can see, and we just go and click on that. We go to the task. Now here we have to create it. So we click on this. Now we have to create the rules. So suppose we will give the rules next reconciliation matching rule. Okay, select what is the transaction source. It will be a payable one. Okay, we can select one or we can select many. Okay, whatever we want to select, we can select it. So right now we have created one. Okay, so matching type will be 1 to 1. Okay, you can select it if you are selecting 1 to many, many to 1, many, or it can be like this. So we will create like this. Here matching criteria can be comes up whether you want to match the criteria with the amount or reconciliation reference number or date or transaction type, or use advanced criteria. You can create it. Here you can just select the advanced criteria, and you can select it the parameters. Like this you will have the matching criteria options. Okay, now we'll click save and close. So we have created this. Now after that we have to create the reconciliation rule set. So here you can see, again we will search reconciliation matching rules set. Then we will go and see the manage bank statement rule set. So we click on this. Now we again create the RRS. Now we have if we have to open this option, we have to first save it. Okay, we have to define the rules. So you can see this. Now here we have to give the one matching rule. So one matching rule that we have created now. Okay, here tolerance, if you want to give, you can give. Okay, then you can save it. Now just save and close it. now we have to assign the now we have to assign the we have to assign this assign to bank statements, where we can control it, where we can automate it. So now we go to our task, manage banks. Under that we have to go to a manage bank account. So we'll search our bank account. So now we will search a bank account. Here we have to click on the pencil icon. Now under the pencil icon we'll go to the controls. Under the controls we have to just give the automatic reconciliation rule set. So we have to give a rule set. So this rule set is there, and now we save and close. Now we have to run the auto reconciliation. Again we will go to the cash management. Again under the bank statement reconciliation, the task list, and we see the submit auto reconciliation. Here on the auto reconciliation we have to go and select the bank statement that we have just created. Okay, the bank statement is next gen is the bank statement. Legal entity, if you want to give the legal entity, you can give the legal entity. If you have many legal entities, and for that if one bank account has many legal entities, then you have to define the legal entities and you have to submit it. Now you can submit it from 678. Now we'll go and see the scheduled process. You can see it has been succeeded. Now again we will go and see. Now again on the manual reconciliation, here we are going to see you can see the on recons. Okay, so hold on a second and we can see on the reconcile it, why it is not reconciled. Okay, again from here we'll go auto submit auto reconciliation. Okay, so we have just not give the date. Okay, we have to give the date. So now we have to give the date. I submitted. Now again we'll see our scheduled process, that scheduled process has been done or not. Okay, it has been succeeded. Okay, so now we go to the bank statement reconciliation. Now we go to the manual reconciliation. Go first, we see the reconciled one, whether there is having or not. Now we'll go and see. So this amount is not matching up because of certain something. Okay, and to the reconciled one we'll go and search it, where you can see the groups has been created. So this is how the auto reconciliation has been done. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to see the external cash transaction manually or automatic, and with the ad hoc payment as well. So thank you for joining this webinar, and see you in the next session. Thank you.